Satnam, good morning. So when we were leaving from sadhana this morning, I said to everybody, on this most auspicious day, may your naps be long, deep, profound. But I probably shouldn't have made that prayer, because when you make a prayer on the birthday of a spiritual master, you get what you pray for. So I was like, 8:45 vibes. Oh no. And on Yogi Bhajan's birthday, I was trying to, as I was going to sleep, I was trying to convince Tegnam that I was going to postpone my class. Because I'm a real talker when I'm kind of in between sleep. I'm like I can make a deal. I can close a deal. He's like, I'm sorry, what, postpone your class? I'm like, yeah, we'll just tell everybody I'm going to postpone. But not this morning. I just had a little Ferris Bueller's day off. Okay, so Satnam. Let's bring the palms together. We're going to tune in, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how the world works. Okay, bring the palms together here on Rama TV, Saturday morning. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Namo. Inhale. And exhale. Angure name Jugan Gure name Sat Gure name Siddhi Guru name Angure name Jugan Gure name Sat Gure name Siddhi Guru name Angure name Jugan Gure name Sat Gure name Siddhi Guru name. Okay, I was talking a little bit about this at business school during the accelerator because it's good to put these things, you have to figure out how you are going to relate to this energy and any energy in your life, but ultimately the energy of the Kundalini Shakti is the energy of the river of your own awakening into your creative destiny or your spiritual destiny. And so I was talking a little bit about this at business school, where Michael Jordan and mentorship, his first college coach said that Michael was not the best guy that he had on the court when they first started his freshman season. But within about 2 weeks, he was. And the reason was that Michael, who, I was watching more of this documentary last night. I just can't name another. There's some amazing athletes and basketball players, but I just don't know anyone else who moves like that. He's a Dakin. He just flies through the air. It's very intense. I hadn't watched footage of him in a long time. It's otherworldly, and certain people have these types of raw power and raw skill sets, and it's incarnational and all this kind of stuff. They're gods of sorts. So you see that raw power, but the coach said that he wasn't the best, but the ingredients that he had was that he wanted to be the best and that he was coachable, that he had the kind of permeability and intelligence and charisma and lack of kind of stonewalling, or there's a great word that I learned a couple years ago, which is unsupportable. Some people are just unsupportable. You can do a lot of different things for them, and a lot of times those people are real tourists. They keep on trying to find some place where they're going to get the thing that they think they want, but they ultimately, the pattern is they're never going to get the thing that they think they want, and they'll run that pattern no matter where they go, no matter who's in front of them, whether it's a personal relationship or a mentorship or whatever the thing is. So we all know people like that. Of course, it's not us, but But so he had that really pure kind of alchemical ingredient where there was raw power, there was raw talent, and he was ready to, because he wanted to do his best and be his best and be the best, whatever that meant to him. He was ready and willing to receive the kind of very close and intimate mentorship that's required to live on your highest destiny path. So would take that out of the spiritual context, because in the Western mind has a hard time handling these spiritual concepts because of our poisoning of the religious kind of post-religious poisoning and a lot of other things. It's very difficult. And I posted that Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche quote about Guru Yoga yesterday, and someone had DM'd me and said, you know, my teacher was a close student of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, and he advised that Western students most likely cannot and should not practice Guru Yoga. And I said, yep, that's true. So I was laughing because I want to take some of these principles out of the spiritual context so you can at least just kind of grok them outside of a context where then we're adding to it a subconscious pressure. Now, in the world of athletics, there's pressure. You can't quite, it's not quite the same sort of pressure, but when we're looking at pressure versus time, which was our whole concept this week with Rama Business School and just getting into our fall semester, well, that's, you know, when you look at that, in athletics, there's pressure. So there's high stakes, there's, you know, high emotions and all that kind of stuff. So there is some version of pressure, and then anybody knows that in order to get to a certain level of success, you can't get there by yourself. You have to be guided there. So then last night, I'm watching the coach before Phil Jackson, who I can't remember his name right now, for the Bulls. Him and Michael Jordan had a very close relationship, and basically during the interview, the coach, and very proudly, I mean, this is his kind of probably the biggest thing he ever did in his career, was that he was able to. Michael Jordan could get inside his mind. So when he was creating plays, they had a mind meld, and you could see it. See, if you're attuned to this stuff, you can see the arc line exchange. So they had that winning team, Rodman and the guy that I'm really into, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan, and some other players on that team that are not less important, but just I'm not good at names. But so they had that winning team. They won 5 championships with that team, and you could see that they had an arc line kind of exchange between Phil and the team members. If you have that kind of training, it's kind of obvious to see when people have that kind of frequency exchange, which makes for a winning team, a successful kind of unit. If there's a deeper exchange than just one level, but there's actually kind of a real energy exchange, and you're looking for that in long-lasting marriages and relationships too. So that's why I always tell people when they're dating, you have to, if you're really going to be sophisticated, what you're looking for is not the outside package. It has to be an arc line exchange, because if you don't have that, the relationship will not last. There's a couple other things. You can make a relationship last if you know some other principles. So, you know, let me take that from the record. But one of the most important things to having a long-lasting and fulfilling relationship is that the arc line exchange is actually happening. And so it's very obvious. I'll just give this to you, you know, Labor Day weekend, whatever. I don't know what people are doing. I guess sitting at home on their couch with their mask on, watching Netflix. I don't know what's going on. But whatever you're doing, you know, you can watch if you are, you know, 6 foot or more away from people, you could watch some of, you know, the relationships and see what's happening. Because you can tell, you can be like that, they have an arc line exchange. They could be the oddest of relationships. They could, you know, in terms of circumstances and, you know, age differences and the way people look and all that stuff really doesn't, I mean, you know, you have to have what, you know, is enough to kind of keep you coming home at night. But besides that, Yeah, alley cat. But besides that, it's really this arc line exchange. So with that team, you see this arc line exchange is very obvious, but there was for 3 seasons, there was another coach before Phil came on to the Bulls that they were doing this episode on. He was being interviewed, and he said, because of me and Michael's mind meld, we had it instantaneously. They just, the charisma, the kind of fire, they both got, there was just an instantaneous thing. And so because of that, they had, a psychic language with each other. So he knew, he was coaching him. Now, this wasn't this guy's language, but there was language like it, which is he was basically able to mentor him, kind of through a psychic language while he was on the court. But the only way you get that is that the student is willing to put their mind into the mind of the teacher. That's the only way that happens. And the student has to come, and the student is the one who has to prove themselves, not the other way around. But in the Western mind frame, we don't understand that. So we think that because we paid our money, because we want our certificate, because we have our 200 hours. I mean, it's bizarro land to the max around this stuff. And anyone who is actually playing a game of success, high destiny, high fulfillment, understands that that's just not the way the world works. The way the world works is the teacher has the goods, and the student has to prove themselves to get the goods and be worthy of getting the goods, meaning they have to be coachable, and then they have to actually do something with it. They have to execute. They have to perform. And so this conversation between Michael and this other coach, he was saying, basically, I coached Michael to Defensive Player of the Year. I coached Michael to MVP. I coached Michael, and it wasn't an ego trip. It was just I was able to take that raw talent and maneuver it in a way because he trusted me, and there was a relationship of he was allowing me to mentor and provide kind of a structure for that raw talent and maneuver it into great fulfillment, great success, great destiny. And then Phil, it was a little bit of a different relationship with Phil, but so these things are different with they're different, and Phil's describing his relationship with Dennis Rodman, who's an odd bird and a really interesting character. And it's a completely different type of relationship. To get what is needed out of Dennis, it was a very different type of relationship. So with a real teacher, they know with each kind of student, they have to do a very different thing. Right? So, me and Guru Jagat intentionally never really compare notes, but occasionally we'll have moments where, does he tell you that too? No, he doesn't tell me that. And we always laugh because, literally, it's very different what I get compared to what she gets, because we have a different psychomagnetic kind of frequency that requires a different skill set from a teacher, and a real teacher knows how to do that instantaneously. That's what a teacher is actually doing. So we take it, in the realm of business and the realm of athletics and the realm of any kind of space, which I spoke of at the Business Accelerator. You talk to any person who's highly successful, they had a very hands-on mentor. And that relationship was the most important relationship to them having a certain type of success that has been fulfilling to them. And I haven't met one person who is at a level of fulfillment and success, which looks different for everyone. So it's not, this is not a cookie cutter thing. We're talking about souls here and destiny. But I have not met one person who has hit a certain frequency of their own fulfillment and success and prosperity and enjoyment. These are the mix of all of those things that didn't have a strong mentor that they willingly gave themselves over to in the way of, I am here to learn and get the goods, not the other way around. And because we have, in this Western kind of wellness space, mind frame, everyone's selling you something, and everyone's so the consumer transaction mindset is so heavy in the Western space, especially since the kind of advent of the wellness industry. Before then, it was a little bit different, just because there wasn't as many like, I'm a Reiki master and you too can be in 60 hours and all this kind of shit. There wasn't that kind of, do my digital course for the, so there wasn't, and it's fine. Everyone, if you have something, you should share it. That's just human life 101. So if you have something that is valuable to you, you should share it, and you should teach it, and you should, there's nothing wrong with that, and everyone should continue to do it. But we are part of the kind of dark side of the technological age, or the Aquarian age, is charlatanism. So I had predicted this before knowing exactly about this pandemic. I predicted that 2020 was going to be the major restructuring of the wellness industry. And part of what's happening with us being digitally intact constantly is that we're becoming more sensitive. So there's a real kind of a sensitization of where real energy is and where it's just a sales funnel and a marketing ploy and a clickbait and this, that, and the other thing. Even, it's just very obvious if there's actual kind of vibrational value and if someone's actually transmitting something. And I think this has actually become much more in the past 6-7 months because of our 18 hours of screen time. We're actually kind of feeling this, where the whole sensitization is happening very rapidly. So today, on my teacher's birthday, I'll tell you a couple of things. We're taking today to say some things that we never say, because some things are better left unsaid. And then the other reason is that we've had to be more quiet about this stuff until now. And so I'm just going to explain a couple of things to you. There is a river of lineage, and I had that Kempola, that Dakini on, I interviewed her for Reality Riffing for Immense Grace. She was very eloquent to describe this. She's a heart daughter of the head of the Tibetan Buddhism of Mongolia, who escaped Tibet with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and was in secret because of political reasons until the 90s at some point. And he was living in Dharamsala with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but he was in secret. And then, because of some political reasons, he could come out of hiding, basically. But she is one of the heart daughters of that lineage. And so she very much understands this. So it was very fun to interview her because she's eloquent to describe. And one way that she described lineage is it's a river of energy coming from the origin, and the origin being the root guru of the root guru of the root guru, and the origin of the wisdom teachings. And it goes back as long and as far as you can trace it in these oral traditions, and then oftentimes even further back from there. Off planet or otherwise. So, and your job when you come as a student of the lineage is that you're trying to catch everything you can, because spirituality can't be taught, it can only be caught. So you're trying to catch everything you can and then, make a play with it, basically, to keep with our athletic metaphor. You're trying to catch it and you're trying to make a play with it. You're trying to do something with it. You're trying to activate it. That's your job. And then as you go deeper into the lineage river, eventually you too will be asked to offer your own frequency, energy, and contribution to the lineage in whatever ways. So that was her kind of description of lineage. I thought it was really well described. The reason why we're interested in lineage here, which you don't have to be particularly, because it doesn't necessarily affect you, but these are the ways that it does affect you. If you're looking for energy, the energy has to have a source, and that source has to be unbroken. And if it is broken, then the source is not as pure or energetic. These are just simple spiritual principles. So in the time where everyone's canceling each other and freaking out and reacting and believing everything you read by written by Russian AI bots on social media, you kind of have to start to decide how you want to relate with energy, because you have an opportunity. If you're listening to this lecture right now, if you're in this room, you didn't come here on this day, the day of Harijiwan's birth. You didn't come here just randomly. The September 5th, 2020, you may have thought you came here randomly, but you didn't. You came here to listen and hear this and then do something with it, because as Harijiwan loves this, I don't even know what movie reference it's from, but he says it all the time, which is, I've heard about coincidences, I just have never seen one. It's one of his favorite quotes. So there's a frequency, lineage happening at Rama that we'll be revealing more in terms of what that kind of looks like. Harijiwan may or may not reveal some of it this afternoon, but the point being, you can watch him on Dave's film if you're really interested in this. The point being is that I was born down the road from the body stupa of the consciousness of my root guru, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, one of my root gurus. I was born down the road from that stupa, and that stupa just happens to be in literally know the fuck where, Colorado, in the hills. And my mom was kind of like, I don't know why, I fell in love with this really crazy cowboy, and he liked to live out, in the middle of nowhere. And we were, we didn't have any, we had to drive 3 hours for what, my mom's from Baltimore. She's like a Jewish girl from Baltimore, and somehow she ended up shacking up with this guy who liked to live in cabins with no electricity, and you had to drive 3 hours for food and water and wood in the middle of the woods in Colorado, and she just does it. She didn't know why she had found herself there, but I know why she found herself there, because she had to go to that in order to bring my soul onto this planet, because I was looking to be as close as I could be to my root guru in this lifetime. Now, these are just kind of, spiritual remembrances that many of us have now, and the children coming in have these remembrances too. But that incarnational stream brought me to Harijiwan, because Harijiwan has a very unique relationship to his root gurus, and the way that the lineage energy flows through him. And you can watch that Dave movie that she just put out. I put it up on my social media if you want to get a sense of this. But we're in Tibet, and in Tibet these days, you can't go anywhere but where your itinerary has already been approved, because of the Chinese police and occupation, and they're not really into here, let's just pull off on the side of the road. And they want there's a very specific way they want the Westerners or tourists to experience Tibet. So we had a very hardcore itinerary, and even one place we were supposed to go, they wouldn't let us go because something was happening there that day. So we had already gotten permission to go, and something was happening there that day where a lot of monks were there, and there was some sort of empowerment, and they wouldn't let us go that day. So we had a very, we were kind of, and then obviously we're a little loud when we roll in. Even though we tried to keep it, it was just 60 of us, rolling in. And I think it's the biggest Western group that have been to Tibet, maybe definitely in recent times. And so somehow through Tegnam's kind of aura and Shabaprit, and then the lineage connection that Harijiwan has, and Guru Jagat and I, we found ourselves being able to go to this ghost monastery. So they're called ghost monasteries. And at this ghost monastery, no tourists come to, but we somehow slipped through. I mean, we were being followed by secret police, and there's a lot of weird stuff happening. So somebody will see like a bus going the wrong direction off the tourist beaten path. They'll call the secret police on you, which is what happened to us. But it was a circus, and we somehow slipped through and made it to this what's called a ghost monastery, which no tourists go to. And that monastery just happened to be the place where Milarepa has meditated many places, but Milarepa is one of our great connections because he was a great Tibetan yogi. So he's connected to the other yogic lineages that are held inside our lineage. And Milarepa was there at that cave and meditated, and there were relics of his at the cave. So there was his walking stick, and also there was his footprint, and I think that was it. But the walking stick was the walking stick of Milarepa. If you get this kind of stuff, this is how old. Julian, where are we putting Milarepa in the time? Is it? Yeah, so it's probably like 800 years old or 700 years old, something like that. Milarepa's walking stick, and then the guy who was there, who was the kind of dharmic protector of these relics, was almost like he expected us. It was very odd, and he led us into the Milarepa cave, and he gave us the relics, because he recognized Harijiwan and Harijiwan's connection to being the heart son of these high kind of Rinpoches. And he not only led us into the cave, but then he sat us down and he gave Harijiwan Milarepa's walking stick, which we then were able, I held on to the side of it, I was like, okay, here we go. And we were able to do Mahan Jap in that Milarepa cave holding the Milarepa relics. Now, inside that cave, one of the reasons why we're able to go get inside that frequency is because one of Milarepa's very devoted students really was the keeper of that space and was the person who wrote the Songs of Milarepa, which is a very famous book. And so inside the devotion of that space, we were able to get into that frequency because of the devotion held here for the lineage gurus and the lineage holders. And that devotion is something you just can't fake. You can't fake it. And if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. It's very, these are just kind of spiritual principles. And so that devotional frequency allowed us to be able to have a very profound experience. And all the people on the yatra were, like, whoa. I said to Harijiwan, he gave me some very crazy, very powerful birthday presents. And I said, I just would like to quote Joey Lawrence from the many awarded show Friends. Whoa. Whoa. That's all I can say about those presents, but that's kind of the vibe when we were there. We were just like, how did this happen? Whoa. But how it happens is the magic and the alchemy of the lineage. And this is part of what we'll do just a little bit of today with the Guru Yoga. And I'm going to take it into a very secular place, which is basically, and I'll teach this meditation to you. You can put yourself inside the mind of any mentor or great kind of wisdom keeper or, artist or somebody who you kind of hold in high regard, you can learn to put your mind inside their mind and practice the very, very beginning parts of this technology, this Guru Yoga technology, which is practical because if you have, if you're a painter and you want to paint more like whoever, you can put yourself inside the mind of the great painters. If you're a writer and you want to, write like, it's like a Harijiwan sent me over to the J.K. Rowling suite in Edinburgh to get the transmission where she finished Harry Potter. And the suite was booked, but we stayed kind of across the hall from it. So I would sneak over there and put my head on the door. And I got caught by a housekeeper here and there. I'd be like, I'm not being weird. I'm over here. I'm just looking at the doorknob because it has a cool doorknob. But so, I was receiving of the transmission to finish my book. It didn't really help much, but no, it did actually. After that, it's not true. After that, I actually, was able to write the book. In a different way. So, these are you're looking to pick up energy in these kind of different spaces, and also if there's somebody that is your mentor or is successful in the things you want to do, or maybe they have a relationship like you want to have, you can put yourself in that mind stream. It's something let's take it down to just the most basic relationship stuff. There's somebody around you who has a relationship that, like the one you would like to have, put yourself into that kind of mind stream because there's a pattern there that you can pick up. So that's the very just scratching the surface of Guru Yoga that I practice deeply. I have the great, profound privilege to have a teacher in this lifetime. And the frequency of that is going downstream in the lineage river here at Rama Institute for Applied Yogic Science and Technology. And that's a certain type of energy that it's just, you can feel it. And that's why you're here sitting around listening to me talk about this. So we'll scratch one little surface of this so that you can just enter the mind of someone that you want to receive wisdom from, or you want that kind of relationship, you want their kind of success, whatever the thing is. And it also kind of takes you out of the envy or comparison, because every time you're envious or you compare and complain, what is it? Compare, complain. Do you guys remember this teaching from Immense Grace? What's the other C? Confused. Compare, complain, confused. Instead of, do you remember what the other ones are? Continuous. There's the 3 positive C's. I don't remember either. That's why I'm asking you. Continuous, consolidated. Consolidated, right? What's the third one? Contained? I don't know. Huh? We'll find out. Here, live on Rama TV, on the next episode of I've Been Up Since 2 a.m. But we do know, one thing we do know is we compare and we complain, we're confused, right? So this is this very little scratch of Guru Yoga that we'll do this morning. If you, instead of compare and complain about your life and make yourself confused, you actually can put yourself at the kind of feet or the mind of someone who you would like that kind of experience or that kind of relationship and receive from them some of the transmission of that. I guess in wellness speak, people call this expanders. That's like the wellness term for it. Because people, I'm like, what is that? Oh, I don't know. Okay, now I understand. Expander. Okay, so that's what we're going to do a little bit of this Guru Yoga. But, ultimately, you just have to think of it this way. However high you want to get on the mountain of your destiny, there are places on the mountain that you can get to by yourself, and then there's a certain place on the mountain that you need a guide. And that's just the way that things work. Okay. Let's do intelligence. We're just going to do a really quick intelligence meditation. This is open and close of these fingers. This is an index finger and a middle finger. And you're imagining just leaving your body. Your focus on the finger movement, not your breath, to begin with. You're imagining leaving your body. Imagining you opening and closing the planets of Jupiter and Saturn. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed.
Turn it
tight with the fingers. Oh, mouth breath. Inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze the muscle fiber, create the kind of energy you want to experience. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Roll the shoulders and the neck and the jaw a little bit. So one of the little sticking points, confusing things, is that even if you have a lineage that is unbroken, or that you have you have the great honor to have a teacher, or you understand the process of the kind of movement of energy in the lineage direction, you have to, in this time, you still have to become your own self-master. And that's the part that people get a little confused on, because it's like, oh, okay, if I'm doing self-mastery, then the teachings themselves of the teacher, I don't need a teacher because it's self-mastery. That's a very kind of common in the zeitgeist now. And it's one way to do it. I mean, in our lineage, there's a famous quote, either you will have a teacher, you'll have the great exalted honor to have a teacher, or may time be your teacher. So we all have teachers. You're gonna either time can be your teacher. It just depends on how you want to do the thing. And there's a complete will. You have complete free will, and you have to decide how you want to create the self-mastery. So that's where these little kind of pieces of common collective consciousness around the spiritual path, how they get a little confused. Because before, there were lineages in the Piscean age, and certainly religions, that I'm going to take your karma from you. I'm going to take the sacrament of the blood of Jesus Christ. I'm taking your sins from you. Or a guru's going to take your karma from you. That's not the way it works in the Aquarian age. So that's the difference. Does that make sense to you guys? That's not the way it works now. You have to become your own self-master. You have to get into the self-mastery frequency. However, that doesn't mean that there is no need for a teacher. So these things are not mutually exclusive. Okay, this whole lecture, it was just in essence a way to avoid what's coming now. Harijiwan, no, I'm teasing, but Harijiwan asked on his birthday last year, could we all just do 11 minutes of Sarabandundes? Do you remember that? And of course I said, oh, fuck this, I'm gonna break my foot so I don't have to. So for the first couple months, I had a broken foot and I couldn't. I threw a rock I threw one of these crystals on my foot and said, I am not doing that. But then, got back at it, and we know that this is very very, very powerful. So this was his one wish last year. And then McCall who said that he's now, I think today he's launching a challenge where people are going to do 22 minutes of it. And I was like, whoa. You were a Navy SEAL. I think, I think that, it's a spectator sport. We could all watch you do 22 minutes of Serpentindes. I was teasing him. Okay, so let's do some cat-cow. This will be part of the 11 minutes. Do some cat-cow. You weren't doing it like that? Okay, come on all fours. Inhale, head up and sit bones up, and then exhale down. And just move your spine a little bit. We just hit 3 minutes. You can always keep going with this, but for those of us who want to do some of these Serpentindes, inhale up to the triangle pose. Exhale forward and down. This is the push-up. Inhale upward facing. Exhale, pull the navel to the spine. And keep going like this. For those of you who know the kind of vinyasa and you're new to this, it's somewhat similar, but you want to keep your toes under. So your toes are curled under the whole time. Your fingers are open. Your breath is deep. Inhale, sat. Exhale, nam. deep breath. You can always go back to the cat-cow if you prefer, or you take a little break and just keep going. Really press yourself back into the downward facing dog every time. Really stretch the legs. Less than 2 minutes. Finish this 11 minutes. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale and take the child's pose. And inhale and come all the way up. All right, happy birthday, Harijiwan. Jesus. We did it. I was sitting at a birthday dinner for my uncle. My aunt had gotten a little drunk, and they brought out the birthday cake and the candles, and he's leaning in to blow it out, and she leans in and she blows out all the candles and says, "Happy birthday." I was like, okay, this is why I moved to the West Coast. So happy birthday. We did it. Okay. You're going to have this is a part of beginning of the Guru Yoga and this meditation. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you an ability to see the reality of a person or a situation from the pulse of the situation or the person rather than the impulse. Almost always we are seeing or reacting to an impulse of a situation or a person or a kind of context in our life. What we want to be doing is reacting from or responding from the pulse of the person or the situation. And that's what this meditation gives you the kind of ability to do. So you're going to have these Gyan Mudras. And then first the edge of the pinkies are going to come together. Then you're going to stack the ring finger behind it, and the edge of the ring finger is going to come together. And then behind that, the edge of the middle finger. And it creates like 3 Himalaya, 3 mountains. And then the eyes are going to be open. And you're going to look straight down over the tip of the nose to the ring finger. So you might need to adjust to make that happen. So you adjust your hands to be that you're looking over the tip of your nose to your ring finger tip. And then begin to breathe, please. Long, deep breath. Eyes are open. They're not crossed or anything. It's just gentle down the tip of the nose all the way to the ring finger and beyond. Watch the mudra. It will impact your perception and adjust your brain. The mantra is the breath itself. Now begin to open communication with a situation or a person that you want to have more of a reality of their pulse or the pulse of the situation instead of your projections of desires and reactions. Very deep, slow breath. Just imagine talking to the person or communicating with the situation. Create this mental caliber to respond to the pulse, to communicate with the pulse. Inhale deep. Close the eyes, roll them up. And in third eye, hold the breath. Go deeper into the pulse. And creating a caliber that you can recognize the pulse of a person or a situation, of yourself. So you can be in right action, not waste time. Energy. And exhale. Good. Excellent. And relax that. Just kind of shake it out for a second. So now you're just going to sit in an easy pose, any easy pose. The hands can be in Gyan Mudra, they can just be on the knees, or they can even be in the lap, right over left, thumb tips touch. So your meditative choice. Close the eyes and look at the tip of the nose through the closed eyes. So now the eyes are closed, you're looking at the tip of the nose. Now you're going to start carving a picture of anyone that you want to go into their mind stream, their patterns, their accomplishments, receive from them. Any deity, any holy human, or anyone, doesn't matter. If you're wanting to bring in a partner, you could also go into the frequency of your partner to be. But just start to carve out a mental picture on that screen of your closed eyes, looking at the tip of the nose. Continue looking at the tip of the nose, the screen, allows you to make the picture of the deity, the teacher, the person, whatever they are, offer your praise, your honor, your gratitude. Appreciate whatever you are going to make this relationship. Practice it. And just concentrate, don't worry. A lot of things will happen without you trying. Keep the spine straight and the breath deep. Exhale. And there's something you want, or you want a deeper understanding or wisdom, or a deeper mentorship, transference of wisdom in some way, shape, or form, or a deeper kind of commitment, or just whatever the deity or the person you're focused on, then you can do this every day, especially if you're really trying to bring something, a certain situation into your life. Bring the palms together, please. A poem written for Orgyen Yomed, heart son of Dujam Rinpoche, and the aspiration lineage for the copper-colored mountain of glory. Mirrored Dharma King, when my head rolls on the floor in front of you, even your radiant feet become razor-edged looking glass. Switchback curves of obsidian to quickly luminous crystal and completely disappearanced. I blink and your eyeglassed eyes are possibly looking towards me, opened and closed simultaneously. How do you do that, great master of Odiana, lake-born lord of Odiana? Unsurpassable secret mantras fill your unknowable lion-pedaled mind and spill from the endless songs of space dakinis, their double dharma'd tongues, terma from the two-hearted cloud dancing mountain kings of Rigdon. The great Himal Pass of unimaginable snow ethers cover over the even more dangerous path. Once every parallel great compassion moon, your mirrored forehead turns in lotus light as we, with one blizzard glance, have the glimmer treasure of fortunate eons to serve the copper-colored mountain of glory by your grace once more. Guru Jagat, September 4th, 2020. Satnam.
Kita